Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Sports Central. I'm Neal Duncan alongside Kris Keprios, and this edition of Sports Central will be special. It'll be the year-end review. Stick around, everybody, for this edition of Sports Central. Welcome back, everybody, to Sports Central. I'm Neal Duncan alongside Kris Keprios, and this is a very special show. It's the year in review, and it's one we always look forward to. But this first segment brought to us by BSN Sports, a great partner of tourism and sports marketing. And Kris, this is a year in review unlike any other, just like 2020 has been a year like any other. And but there's still a lot of great things that happen.
Yeah, I said at the end of our last show that we did that I had a chance to be on two shows in a row for me. That's a record in itself. But I said at the end, you look back at 2020, it's almost a year you don't want to review. But when we look back and preparing for the show, there really were some great things that happened, and it was a good year despite all of the craziness, all the things that were different. A lot of good things happened at the beginning of the year.
Sure.
Middle was tough, but then we came through, and it was a good ending to the year, and we're looking forward to 2021.
Well, and as we just come off of Thanksgiving, just having had that, and there are a lot of things that you said, Kris, there's to be thankful for. Of course, at the beginning of the year, towards the end of 2019, right at the beginning of 2020, in Winter Haven, the opening of the Advent Health Fieldhouse, very much needed for not only for the community in Winter Haven and the Central Florida area, but also the sports and special events to be recruited to that facility. We were able to be there for that opening. So.
Yeah, and it continued to bolster the partnership with the Orlando Magic and the Lakeland Magic. So that was huge at the very beginning of the year, and one of the highlights of the month of January when that opened.
Absolutely, and then working with their team to figure out when things reopened, how to efficiently and safely run events there at the Advent Health Fieldhouse. So we were able to catch up earlier this year with Scott Eilers. So we'll have that. Curtis Reddick from Smoke on the Water. That is there's a number of events in Polk County that just have a long history of success, and certainly Smoke on the Water. I look forward to revisiting that package and hearing what Curtis had to say.
Yeah, the start of every year in Polk County kind of brings barbecue season is what we call it, and that's one of those traditional events that's part of that, along with Pig Fest and some of the others. So yeah, that's always, although it makes me hungry to start thinking about that right now. We still have a couple months until the next one, but yeah, it's always a great event over in Winter Haven.
And we're also going to get to catch up with Zach Burek of the Detroit Tigers and Lakeland Flying Tigers. Of course, last show we talked to a number of basketball coaches, and Coach McGriff from Bartow mentioned the kind of where you were when things really started to unfold as far as in the U.S. with COVID-19, and we were actually at a meeting with the Tigers over at Publix Field at Joker Marchant Stadium, and when the dominoes started to fall. So look forward to hearing that interview with Zach. But spring training was cut short. The season was delayed.
Yeah, but the Tigers still had a good season, all things considered. I mean, they were in a full rebuilding mode, but they had a lot of young players that we got to see for a couple of weeks of spring training, and excited to see them in 2021 because they are one of the up-and-coming teams. And when you look at their farm system in all of Major League Baseball, they're top 3, top 4. So now looking back, they have a brand new coach. I think things are looking up for them, and we'll get to look back at when we talked to Zach and see. I'm sure he talked about those pieces that were falling into place. So yeah, it was an exciting time. Even though the season was shorter, still a lot of reason for optimism in Detroit.
Yeah, we also are going to see an interview of Rob Seitz from Russ Mat Baseball, another event that was cut about 2 weeks short because of the pandemic and when everything started closing down. But Russ Mat Baseball, such an enormous economic impact for Polk County. You've got the Tigers, which are a huge economic impact with their spring training. This is collegiate spring training. Again, big numbers coming into Polk County as far as that economic impact. And Nate Boudreau from USA Water Ski. So enough from Kris and Neal. Let's take a look at all this action. We'll be right back here on Sports Central.
How do kids join and get involved Great question. So First Lego League is a national, or actually an international organization. They can go to firstlegoleague.org. Locally, you can go to centralfloridarobotics.org, and we have information on our website about how to start a team and steps that you can use in kind of gaining a mindset of how to do this. Robotics is something that all students should have access to, and many times we see that parents or even educators feel that, oh, robotics, this is way too advanced for us to do this. That is absolutely not true. Yeah. There are so many great steps, and the partnership that First Lego League has with Lego Education, it really does lend itself to teaching everyone, students of all ages, how to begin coding and go from there.
So this is a regional championship.
Yes, sir,
Polk State College, and the date again was
the Sunday, February 17th.
Is this a qualifier for something else? Or are they going somewhere else down the road?
Yes. So actually, we will have our highest award winners, our champion award winners. Will actually move on. One of which will be competing in Houston at the first World Championships, which will take place in April.
So I am chair of Light Up the Night 5K. This is a fundraising event for the Junior League of Greater Winter Haven, and we're going to be having our biggest fundraiser of the year in downtown Winter Haven on March 1st.
And so tell us about all the different divisions that people can participate in doing this event.
Absolutely. So we take all comers when it comes to a 5K. We've got walkers, joggers, people with strollers, people in wheelchairs rolling. So we take all comers of all ages.
So there's a senior division for Hank, right?
We go all the way up to 80 years plus.
Oh, good. I still have about 40 years to go.
Oh. In your head. So it's running, jogging, walking, 5K. But I think the neat thing is it's downtown Winter Haven, and what the city has done to that area. So not only is it for a good cause, but the surroundings are pretty neat too.
Absolutely. So one of the coolest things about this is we are actually going to be the first 5K to go through their newly constructed Magnolia Park and South Central Park. These were just constructed this past year, and we're going to be the first ones to get to utilize it.
There's a Friday night kind of kickoff party, and then the event itself on February 2nd on Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6. But let's go through it. What does Friday night look like? Who's invited to that, and what's Saturday look like?
So Friday night, this will be the third year in a row that we've opened it to the public at 6 o'clock. Originally, it was just for the sponsors. So the sponsors will come in, and we'll have a special area for them because they are, funding the club, and this event helps us, say thank you to them, and we have a really good dinner for them to have, and there's going to be Duke Burr and T. Michael doing their show during the dinner, and then afterwards we're going to have the 1969 band, and they're going to be playing on the main stage, which I'd like to talk about because the main stage this year is not going to be inside the tent like it has been in the past. It's going to be outside, and it's a pretty big deal, and I don't know if we can see that or not, but the stage is going to look like this year.
It's a big venue.
It's going to make the whole venue feel different, and we're thinking it's going to be the next big thing for us.
The event taking the next level
step, yes. Yeah. Then Saturday morning, we're going to have the event open at 10 a.m. and we've got bands starting, and they'll be playing throughout the day, various bands. And then the barbecue competition will be, the award ceremony will be at 6 o'clock, and it'll be on the main stage. So during the day, obviously, we're going to have barbecue for people to try.
It's just a bright new day in Winter Haven. Michael, we've had some good times at some of the older establishments and venues and facilities, but we're seeing some huge changes in Winter Haven right now, and we could talk about so many of the things, from the tennis complex to the water ski site to the new park downtown is just absolutely phenomenal, that you spearheaded through, and now the field house and conference center. This is a game changer for Polk County, let alone, or for Winter Haven, let alone Polk County. I mean, this is absolutely huge. Tell us a little bit about what's going on and the field house, conference center, construction timeline, and all those good things.
Certainly. Well, first of all, thanks for having us on today to talk about what's happening in Winter Haven, because I think it's the impact of this stuff is not Winter Haven. The impact of this is Polk County and even well beyond. It definitely puts a new star on this area of Central Florida. And as you mentioned, lots of big things in Winter Haven over the past few years. You know, the tennis complex, downtown park, Lake Maud Park, lots of new programs, but the biggest by far, probably one of the biggest projects the city has ever even embarked on is this Field House and Conference Center. This is a great partnership, as you know, with the Board of County Commissioners and the TDC. They're a huge funding partner in this. Sports Marketing is our marketing partner in this. The Lakeland Magic, it's going to be their training home once it's all completed with the construction. But this is about an 87,000 square foot little addition we're putting onto the existing Chain of Lakes complex. That building is about 56,000 square feet. So we are more than doubling the size of that with this beautiful new Fieldhouse Conference Center. Started construction back in October. I think you guys carried some footage for that. We went out for a groundbreaking. I tell people all the time, I expect to see a little pile of dirt. We're going to stick some shovels in it, and I get out there, earth has been moved. You know, everything has changed on the scene, and Rada Construction and Everett Whitehead and Son paired up on this to do the construction work. They got underway, and we've got some footage showing here of just the time lapse the county has been able to capture on this site. But we've got two great local contractors that have partnered up to make this happen. We've got Strawn Trout Architects out of Lakeland. Tim Heft and his team have done an amazing job designing this facility. And when it's all said and done, you know, the number of athletic events and conventions, exhibitions and such that can happen in this space is really unlimited. I mean, only by the amount of hours in the day and the days in the year.
Well, Rob, we talked about the largest collegiate baseball tournament in the world and spring training in the world. And last year we had, or you had 240 teams, roughly, 235.
Right.
Somewhere in that range. How about this year?
270 teams coming down this year. 1,100 games played over six weeks here.
1,100 games in 6 weeks.
Yep.
What is the biggest challenge in managing all of that? Because you know, you've been here already, getting organized and getting set up for this. You come in ahead of time so you get prepared for this barrage of teams coming down here.
It's everything. I mean, it's obviously all the great people at Polk County Sports Marketing help out a ton, getting all the facilities, getting the facilities ready to take that kind of amount of games in that short amount of time. Those guys work so hard, and we're very thankful for that. Our umpires as well. I was on an umpire call last night, and just the organization that goes into bringing all them down. And then, of course, all of the lodging partners are just enormous.
Things that you wouldn't really think about.
Exactly.
You know,
It's
the
a lot.
umpires, how critical are they to
they're pretty important
and
to be able to
how many do
play.
you need for each game?
We have at least 2 for each game, and
Okay.
some of the games have 3 out there as well. So.
Wow.
Yep.
You know, that's unbelievable. Room nights, somewhere over 30,000.
Yeah.
30,000.
Definitely over 30,000, and still a lot of the parents that we are not able, that don't book through us, that we're not able to track there. But yeah, there's you know, I mean, every person you see in the stands there is obviously down here from somewhere. So
Yes.
there's a lot of room nights being generated for sure.
Well, but the fact of the matter is, this race is another great family event on the shores of beautiful Lake Hollingsworth, and I just don't think it gets any better than that, particularly down by the new yacht club that's going up and across the lake from Florida Southern College.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, this is our 81st year, and an exciting year. And on the way here today, I was thinking about how we've kind of progressed over the last 20 or 30 years, and how then relating that back to years ago when I was a little bitty guy running around collecting the shotgun shells from the cannon that we would fire every so often. And thinking that what we've done with the fantastic support of Polk County Sports Marketing, the City of Lakeland, our particular committee, Central Florida Racing Club, with our officials and our volunteers, and where we've brought it to this next weekend is the fact that we have made it faster, bigger, and now we're going to see the results this next weekend.
We have a big party on Tuesday night for the Pro-Am participants that play in the 2 days of Pro-Am, Wednesday and Thursday. And then competition starts on Friday. We'll bring in 132 players, so we'll take advantage of that daylight savings time and get as many players out on the golf course as we can. And yeah, it should be a good week. It always is. The Florida's Natural has always kind of been our kickoff event to the season. This year we kicked off actually this week down in Port Charlotte with a new event that we're doing down there. But this is always an event that our players love coming to. The golf course, the country club at Winter Haven, went through the renovations they did about 3 or 4 years ago, and probably arguably, you know, one of the better golf courses that we play, you know, on our 24 events that we conduct over the year. So players excited because the golf course is always in great condition, and the hospitality that Florida's Natural extends to our players and to our staff is second to none. So we're kind of spoiled next week. It's really a good week.
And talk about the tour, because this is very important for all the 132 golfers that are coming from all over the world, I would presume.
Yep. We'll have typically we'll have about 30 countries represented. Just as a point of reference, kind of as how the tour has grown, as Mark can attest, being around it for a long time. You know, we started out just graduating 3 players to the LPGA Tour, and then it went to 5 players, and about 10 years ago it went to 10 players earned their card based upon their earnings over the previous year. Right now, sitting at number 1 on the LPGA money list is Nelly Korda. Nelly Korda is just 2 years removed from competing throughout the year on the Symetra Tour.
Welcome back, everybody, to the second segment of Sports Central, our year in review special program here. And this segment brought to us by the Hampton Inn in Bartow. Neal Duncan alongside Kris Keprios, and some great interviews there in segment 1.
Yeah, I'm glad I got to be a part of this show. It is really cool to look back, and you know, since I don't get on the show all the time, of course I watch every episode at least 2 or 3 times, but you forget all these great interviews we had.
You set the reminder at home. Is that?
You forget all these great interviews we had throughout the year, and it is cool to kind of look back at how things kind of fell into place. So,
well, we talked about it in our first segment, 2020. If you look back, you're like, oh, you know, strange year, weird year, tough year, and that certainly is all true. We don't want to minimize that, but there were certainly some great things, and year in and year out, Polk County events that are either locally homegrown or events recruited in by tourism and sports marketing for that economic impact. There's great things to experience, that quality of life, and one of those things that opened up this past year, a little bit into 19 and then into 20, was the Elite Cable Park over there in Auburndale at the Lake Myrtle Sports Park, and there's an interview that we're going to see from Kellen Rudnicki, excuse me. Great facility.
Yeah, we closed the last segment of interviews with water skiing, and then, you know, true to our heritage in Polk County as the water ski capital of the world, talking about a brand new attraction that has to do with water skiing, wakeboarding, and the Elite Cable Park is just taken off. That's the cool part about looking back, is now being able to see how much they've grown over the year, and how many more people have been able to experience that attraction. So definitely going to be cool to look back at that, and then we get into a little bit of golf. And I think I may have even been part of one of these, and that's the good part about not being on all the shows, because I'm sure there's some type of blooper reel at the end of the year. You're not going to see me on there probably, but probably plenty of you and some of the others.
Me,
but
well,
anyway,
we try our best.
Yeah, but no.
But Brock Whitmer.
Yeah, Brock from Cleveland Heights, Bob Shade from Cypress Wood, and we talk all the time about the great golf in Polk County. Over 40 golf courses, Stream Song Resort, which is
what they just did during the shutdown. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, they just rolled out brand new Mach 1 greens. They're the only course, I think, in the world, or at least definitely in the United States, to have these brand new greens. They say, which I don't know why you want to make that course any harder. It's fun. It's a fun experience, but it's tough. if you're a golfer like me, that's not very
Well,
good.
I was going to say, if it's you and I, it doesn't matter how much money they spend on their greens, we're still not going to hit them.
But they say it's like kind of like rolling a putt on this surface
fast,
right here.
very fast putts. Yeah.
But the only place you can play those greens anywhere in North America. So they continue to improve that experience, which it's hard to do because it's such a great first-class experience. But yeah, just the golf in general in Polk County, with all our great courses, people come from all over the world, literally, to play here. So it's always good to catch up with some of our great golf course general managers.
Yeah, and we caught up with Dr. Michelle Henney not too long ago, actually. I think it was earlier in the fall as things were getting started for the high school fall season, and they do the Saturday. They open up for any injuries from Friday night and do all that. But sports medicine is an important part of things in Polk County, because you look at the number of high schools, athletes, all the events coming, the number of college and universities we have. So you've got to get them. Inevitably, there's injuries and there's boo-boos, if you will, that you got to get them back on the competition field or court or whatever, and they do a great job.
Yeah, they definitely do, and we talked a lot in our last show. You mentioned with the coaches about, normally you're dealing with these types of injuries. Now you're also dealing with keeping kids healthy from COVID and things like that. But yeah, sports medicine is an integral part of any discussion you have about sports, because you got to keep those players healthy. We see that all the time.
Absolutely. And then our last interview in this second segment of Sports Central is going to be Scott Sloman from the RP Funding Center. You talk about a facility that just is completely diverse in the amount of events that they offer, whether it's sports, arts, performances. It's just fantastic. But enough from Kris and Neal. Let's take a look at these interviews. We'll be right back here on Sports Central.
You're talking about people from, coming from the northern, but I'm always amazed at the number of foreigners that will travel overseas, and they'll have a vacation around this Ironman because they want to be in Central Florida, they want to be in Polk County, so they can go to the attractions, they can do all this type of stuff.
And they can race.
Yeah, and then they can do their favorite sport, or sports,
yes,
I guess. So any idea this year about different countries or how many foreigners are coming in?
We do have a lot of people from Europe and South America, and we opened up a new series in China, so we have a lot of people that are now involved with trying to get into age group racing and trying to compete to race towards our World Championships series. So we have a 70.3 World Championship that we host in different places each year, and then of course if they do our Ironman event, they get to go to Hawaii for our World Championship race out there.
Now, do the people that compete in this Ironman, do you have athletes at the skill level that they'll go from this one into the full marathon, the full Ironman?
Yes, a lot of them work their way up to that point, so 70.3s are a good way for them to train, even though their plan is to still do Ironmans that year. It still gives them time on the road and competing against people on their each segment of the race and seeing where they can better themselves. And
this is the 45th annual.
That's right, 45 years. What's interesting, the last couple of segments, I've got the pleasure of watching those guys and listening to how those interface with the community and how they support it. And we've got elements there, as well. 45 years of volunteerism. Really the whole thing began as a volunteer event. And the volunteers themselves, in effect, were the clients. But then you invite the public in, and they've got that great Southern hospitality that Polk County here is famous for, and they just showcase that out. It just keeps them coming back year after year. And we share that, with like with the Ironman folks, and even the 5K, that we were mentioning earlier in the program. We have the Sun and Run 5K happening out there at the airport now as part of the kind of the latest application of things that go well for the rest of the county. We're going to invite that in as well, so it's a lot of fun.
That's amazing. Well, you give people things to do and get them involved and engaged in the event, and it just makes for even a better event and a better turnout. And the number of people that come to this is what I find to be staggering. Like 200,000 people are going to be coming to this event.
It's astounding. We'll record over 80 countries will be represented. And not only that, recently in the last couple of years, we brought on another component of this, Live Air Show TV, which has gotten, actually we're reaching out beyond the event itself. So it's a global broadcast. It streams live on the weekend program. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday,
we get to showcase even more of what's going on at Sun and Fun here in Polk County, and of course the folks like especially Visit Central Florida and our folks that Visit Florida Restaurant and Lodging Association are highlighted during that time, and that just invites more to come in and see what the others are getting to see. If they're not here, they're going to want to come next year.
Two-time national champion in the 400 individual medley. Talk about that event and what it's like to win it the first time, but then come back and defend your title.
Well, it's one of the toughest events out there, that's for sure. Having to do all 4 strokes and 100 of each, obviously. It's really something that I really didn't start swimming until probably my junior or senior year in high school.
Really?
So it's something that I really didn't think I was the best at, and apparently I am. But winning it my junior year was really special. I was going against the 3-time national champion before. And then to kind of come back from 2 seconds down, starting the freestyle leg of the race, and then winning it then by, I think, a 13th of a 100th, was really special. And then coming back my senior year and defending my title was really pretty sweet.
And Jackie, you know as well as anybody on the planet it's hard to move the needle in September. People just don't travel.
Yeah, but you know, they will to follow their child. And you know, you have always said it, and you're preaching to the choir, because quite honestly, you will follow your child for baseball, softball, whatever. And you know, we've all lived on those bleachers, but you may not go to the some week-long vacation, but you're going to take your child to their softball tournament, their soccer tournament, their tennis tournament, some of these unique sports tournaments. You follow your child where they want to go, and that brings in. And you've always said this, that that keeps us recession free, and it also gives us a really great opportunity to have all kinds of versatility with our groups coming in. We have a little bit of everything, and that has really, really done well for Polk County.
Tell us about some of the challenges and what can the folks expect, because that's what you've been all about. Is
yes, welcome to the world of putting on events.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's been a really great experience to partner with the Early Learning Coalition. So Lakeland Regional Health, what I do there is I'm the Trauma Continuum of Care Coordinator. So
better
I do
say
a lot
that
of
slowly so Sam can understand.
Continuum of Care Coordinator. So a lot of my role is injury prevention and community outreach. So when I was asked to come into the group, it was really exciting, because we really want to make this event family friendly, for safety as well. So we're going to have 2 different booths at the event. The first one is going to be focused on motorcycle safety, and we're going to have first responders actually there. It's going to be an interactive booth. We're going to be talking about some things that you can do before the actual first responders come if you were to actually witness a motorcycle crash, or if you yourself were a rider. What are things you can do to help prevent injury and promote safety, as well as car drivers, because really it's all of our responsibility to make sure that these motorcyclists stay safe on the road. And then the second booth is going to be really neat, because we were thinking, how can we bring in the family aspect? And so we really want to have something for the kids. So we're bringing in bicycle safety, and we're going to have a whole booth that has bicycle safety for children. But the main thing we're going to be doing at that booth is we have certified bike helmet fitters that are going to be there, and we're going to be giving away 100 bike helmets for kids 12 and under. Wow. So we'll actually fit them at the event and let them take their bike helmet home, as well as injury prevention material in a goodie bag. So it's exciting.
I was on a small boat, so that was a 10-person boat as opposed to the 20. The team that I was on, it was a all-women's boat, so I was on small boat, Senior Women B, and we were very lucky. I wouldn't say it's not luck, it was everything that we did to get there. But we won 2 bronze medals, so it was amazing. It was just absolutely amazing to be there. We were with all the other Team USA folks. It was just great to just cheer everyone on. The other countries were amazing. It was fabulous.
How do you?
Well, here's some of the results up here. Had the Aussies winning, and then Germany, United States, Great Britain, New Zealand, and Singapore. I mean, that's some great stuff. I mean, that's really truly an international event.
Yes.
I mean, it isn't like American football where they're playing Canada and a few other places. But there's some really cool shots here of some of the team holding up the U.S. flag. And
how do you get
the boat? That's
how do you get the boat over there?
That's one of my favorite pictures right there. That's us coming around the corner on our last 500 of the 2000. But the organizations that put these on, no matter where you go, if it's in Tampa, Orlando, Vancouver, doesn't matter what state you're in, the organization that puts on the event will bring the boats in. If you probably don't know what a dragon boat looks like, you're probably not paying attention to it, but you probably have been on 75 or I-4, and there's been, a truck just hauling them, taking them. For this part, for the United States, a lot of them come out of Canada. So they bring them in for the event, and then they take them back.
Today, we're here to talk about what's happening with indoor soccer, the Lakeland Tropics.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a very, very busy off season. So winning the national championship, I think this is the first time I've come back even since we won that. Yeah. So, that was obviously a very, very exciting time for the organization. And, a national league, anytime you're going in, there's a lot of suspense and intensity. And it definitely kind of set the bar high for us now going into the indoor season. So very, very busy off season. We signed 11 of the top 25 free agents in the league. Basically just took superstars from every other team and said, all right, well, we won it on the outdoor side. Now there's no messing around. The goal this season is to win the MASL championship on the indoor side. Absolutely.
Now, how do you recruit them? I mean, how are you able to steal them away and get them on your team?
Well, we got lucky. This was a huge free agency period. Every 3 years or so when contracts go up, all the guys get opened up basically and become free agents. So this was a very, very big period. So actually the owner, Dr. Yacovides, I mean, he and the head coach really spent hours watching film, identifying what players they want, and then, Kris and I and Clay in the front office go after the players, and we reach out to them and we try to contact them and find out what they're feeling. And here is an interesting situation because we have the weather, right? That's probably the main reason these guys are in Kansas City, St. Louis, Milwaukee, Utica. I mean, the biggest thing we have to offer here is, well, they always walk out of the arena on the away teams and say, well, why don't we live here or play here? So we do have that little bit of sell, but with no training facility here in Polk County, they have to travel to Orlando. So that does become a little bit of a hard sell sometimes. But we just kind of, once you sign one big name, which for us this year was Gordy Gerson, probably debatably first or second best player in the league. He was that first guy.
Where is he from?
So he is actually, I think he's from the Midwest originally, from Chicago area, but he's leading goal scorer in the league. I mean, he is just an amazing player to watch. He scored 6 goals on us in the Orlando game last season, the only time that we lost to them at home. So we said, all right, well, we want him on our side now, scoring against Orlando in the opener. So once you got him, the rest of it was kind of a domino effect, and everybody said, let's buy into what the Tropics are trying to do this year and come down to Florida.
Welcome back, everybody, to Sports Central. Neal Duncan alongside Kris Keprios, and some great interviews there as we roll along in the Year in Review 2020, and just some great stuff.
Yeah, are we at the part yet where things started getting better after the shutdown? I don't remember what part of the year, but no, like we said at the beginning of the show, in some instances it's tough to look back at in 2020, but there were so many good things about the year, and there's so much promise looking into 21. But yeah, it's always great to see some of those interviews again and to see the success a lot of those places have had.
Speaking of success, a fantastic restaurant in Winter Haven that has had a phenomenal success. That's Harborside, and you definitely want to check that out. Lakefront dining there, and the food's good, by the way, too.
Yeah. In all of our, that's one of the things in our tourism ads that we do. I do a lot on the tourism side of things. You can't beat that photo of the family sitting next to the lake during sunset at Harborside, and that's the experience you get when you go there. You get that great lakeside dining experience, and we have a lot of great places like that. Talking about a pandemic, where that you get a great view and a great meal outside in a safe setting throughout Polk County.
Yeah, in this third segment, we're going to have a lot of great event footage, things that have taken place over 2020. One of them, another traditional event, Barkley Bean, Bryant and Friends, took place before the pandemic, but a great event they put on there at the First Tee. Yeah,
I don't even know how many millions, literally millions of dollars they have raised for that organization, the YMCA Par 3. The First Tee organization, and every year, and he says it, I mean, you will see it in the package, I'm sure. Charles Barkley says every year that's the first event he puts on his calendar. He makes sure he does not miss that. to come to Lakeland, Florida, of all places, for a Hall of Famer like him. But it's because of the community. It's because of people like Andy Bean and Brad Bryant and some of those guys that he's friends with, and he wants to come back and give back every year. And it's just cool to see that event continuing to do so much for the community year after year.
Andy Bean was actually at our offices not too long ago, about a month ago, at the Polk County Sports Hall of Fame. Of course, that's located at the Lake Myrtle Sports Park in Auburndale, but it was pretty cool to catch up with Andy and talk with him. Speaking of a cool event that took place this last year in 2020 in January, Team USA, the USA softball team, was in Polk County at Florida Southern College as they started their road to what would be a postponed Olympics. Unfortunately, when they were here, they were headed towards Olympics here in 2020, but it's been postponed until 21. And I hear it on good authority that there's a good chance they're going to be back here in Polk County in 21 and maybe doing a similar path to what they did in training at Florida Southern. But stay tuned for an announcement on that. But how cool was it to have the U.S. Olympic softball team training here in Polk County?
Yeah, I had a chance to actually go out there and see them as they were training. And again, this is a testament to the great facilities we have in Polk County, that they were able to do that at Florida Southern College. Just a beautiful facility out there, and that was one of the things they talked about. And again, I'm probably throwing it away. That this is probably in the package, but
still watch it.
They all talked about how amazing the facilities are here.
Well, it comes down to partnerships. The partnership between Polk County Sports Tourism and Sports Marketing, USA Softball, and Florida Southern to make all that come together and work. Because there's still safety concerns even before COVID-19, and making sure that they had everything they needed, security and things like that. So looking forward to that, looking forward to them coming back. And we also have some great footage from Quidditch. Last Sports Central, we had Eric Robinson, the head basketball coach at Auburndale, Johnny Lawson, the head girls basketball coach at Winter Haven, and Terrence McGriff, the head basketball coach at Bartow High School, all starting their seasons trying to get the RP Funding Center, which for years has hosted the state's finals for FHSA. We have two packages to watch. That's the girls finals from a year or so ago and the boys finals, but always a great event to go to.
Yeah, and again, I keep going back to this, but it speaks to the facilities and the inventory we have here in Polk County to host events, to have a state championship level event at the RP Funding Center. Again, back to the USA Softball, you're not going to get a Olympic governing body team to come and train at a place that doesn't have good facilities that are up to par, and we see that with the basketball, and also with the next event with a place like Holloway Park. I mean, we have just world class, not just best in the state, world class facilities here that bring these great events, and we can't let that get lost in the fact that we host all these events. It's because of great partnerships and great facilities.
Well, the events we've mentioned and a couple others are right here, segment 3. Enough of Kris and I talking. Let's take a look at the action. We'll be right back on Sports Central.
I'm Rob Seitz. I'm the president of Russ Mat Baseball. We bring in about 230 college teams down here over a 6-week period and play about 1,000 games during that time frame. The biggest thing is these guys getting down to this weather. A lot of them are from the Northeast, and a lot of dealing with snow and haven't been out on the field yet. So these guys are excited to get down here in this weather, these beautiful facilities that we have here in Polk County, and get out there and play some baseball. And a lot of them do a lot of practices as well while they're here. So.
So the week before we were supposed to go to Shenandoah, it got canceled because of snow, actually. Rescheduled the game, but we're able to come down here in beautiful weather and actually get out on the field. We were outside back home, but on turf and not actually on our home field. But it's nice to be able to get down here in the weather and play games. We'll play 8 games in 7 days. And that's big for us to be able to try to play a 40-game schedule. We're allowed 40 games.
through a registration process there. Then they kind of choose game schedule, what they want to play, when they want to play, how many games they want to play each day, if they want to practice or play games, and then we put together that schedule for them. So it's really not a tournament format per se. It's more of just come down. You want to play 12 games over 7 days, we'll set that up for you. If you want to play 5 games over 8 days, we'll set that up for you. So we take care of the coaches and on their scheduling and put that all together for them.
Amazing players, all of them are amazing players that were playing behind me, and I didn't know, what they could do or what they were doing, so I kind of just had to focus on my own game and shoot as low as I possibly could to kind of put myself in a good position, which I ended up doing, and it's crazy because, thinking back to some of the shots I hit, it was just, it seemed like it came effortlessly, and I think just because I was so present.
Today is the Haines City 70.3 half Ironman. So it's 1.2 mile swim, 56 mile bike ride, and a half marathon in the hills of Haines City.
I am from Katy, Texas. I live in Atlanta, Georgia, and Haines City is actually a really nice city. I was kind of surprised, to be honest, just because I don't hear much about it.
Haines City's doing great. They're amazing. They treat us well. It's a great venue. I mean, like I said, you just can't beat it. I mean, with the location like this, making it spectator friendly, it might be the best event on, I would say, from a family perspective, where they can keep up with their athlete, and Haines City's just awesome.
The people is amazing, the support, the town, and the run, the thrill brand, the people were amazing.
This is the only course that actually has an MDOT basically swim course. So it's basically just due to the depth of the water for safety for athletes, for boats to be able to get to those certain athletes. If it was a higher, water, we had a lot of rain, then it possibly we could do an out and back. But with this, we create an MDOT. It is a little confusing, but once the athletes get to do the practice swim and feel it out, it's pretty easy.
This is our 19th year. This organization was started in the year 2000 with 6 teams in Nashville, Tennessee. The teams are, I'd say, mostly coached by dads. Some hire professional coaches, but it's mostly a homeschool enterprise. Very few of them have any facilities of their own. They practice at city fields or whatever fields they can find, and most of them play some play public school teams and other private school teams in their states, And this is sort of the big event that a lot of these teams plan for and finish up their season with.
Well, we love coming down to Auburndale and to Polk County and to the facilities here, number one, because they're excellent facilities. And number two, for us, it just gives us a chance to play teams from around the country and come to a centralized location where we can spend a week together, competing at the game we love. And I know in a lot of the states where homeschoolers play on their own individual teams, there's not a state association or a state championship that you play for. So this becomes kind of like our national championship at the end of the season. And coming to Polk County gives us a great opportunity again to come to a place with great weather, great facilities, and the people here are just great to have us down and welcome us as they do.
You should see my garage. It is loaded with just going around the country playing golf, raising funds to help other people. And believe me, when Ken called me and said, I need you, I said, I'll be there. And that's why I'm here, because a lot of people need our help, and I'm willing to give it.
Well, I'm actually a 6-time World Long Drive finalist, golf trick shot entertainer, and professional player. So I have 3 different dynamics that I use, both for charity functions, corporate outings, member guest tournaments, you name it. But today we're out here for the Ken Riley Foundation, and Ken gave me a personal phone call. We had met at the Larry Little Foundation tournament down in Miami, and he thought I'd be a fun fit to help raise some money for his foundation here in Lakeland. So he's doing good things for the community. So today we are doing trick shots. I'm more like the Harlem Globetrotters of golf, in an effort to help them raise some extra funds.
Be sure to stop by one of the many souvenir outlets to pick up all of your Sun and Fun souvenirs, hats, t-shirts, and toys. All right, the planes are going up and the show's about to start, so we'll pass this on to you guys back in the studio.
Well, welcome back, everybody, to the fourth and final segment of Sports Central, our year in review, looking back at 2020, the best interviews, the best packages of different events going on here in Polk County. And this segment brought to us, this fourth and final segment brought to us by Hollywood Signs, a great partner of tourism and sports marketing. But Kris, every year on Sports Central, PGTV crew does a phenomenal job of not only covering Sports Central when we're in studio, but all these interviews, all these packages, helping us to promote different things and events and sending promotional videos to potential clients. Yeah. So we want to thank Mayanne Nelson and her whole team at PGTV for all that they do. But one of the features that they do each year, as you know, Kris, is the Athlete Spotlight. And it's a chance for them to go in the community and highlight these great student athletes that we have in Polk County. So this entire fourth segment is going to be dedicated to some of the best of those Athlete Spotlights. So we're certainly looking forward to that. And what we're going to do is go ahead and thank our sponsors of today's Sports Central, and we'll just let the Athlete Spotlights take us to the conclusion of this show. So let's cover some of those sponsors.
Yeah, we couldn't have another successful year without great sponsors and partners of tourism and sports marketing, places like Cleveland Heights Golf Course, Extended Stay America, Days Inn and Suites, Hall Communications, and Hampton Inn Winter Haven. We thank them and all of our sponsors that make everything we do possible. So couldn't have another great year in 2020 or another good year in 2021 without them.
Absolutely. If you want more information on things going on in Central Florida's Polk County, go to centralfloridasports.com or visit centralflorida.org. You can get more information or give us a call at 863-551-4750. The next edition of Sports Central will come live to you January 15th, 2021. And I'm like everybody else, hoping that once that calendar rolls over, 2021 is going to be much better. But for now, we're going to have the Athlete Spotlight, and we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we will see you in 2021. Goodbye, everybody.
The most difficult thing about weightlifting is really being dedicated. You really have to be dedicated to it. Because if you're not dedicated, you just go out there, you're just gonna be looking a mess. So you have to be dedicated to weightlifting. Most people think, oh, you lifting weights, that's too much, that's too heavy. It's really not. Like, most people think of lifting weights just, that's you letting your anger out. So you let your anger out on the weights, you're gonna know that you angry, you're gonna lift the weights and push. I would say you should join the weightlifting team, something that's productive, but weightlifting is actually a fun sport to do. It actually is. You let a lot of stress out. Instead of being out here fighting, doing all this, you could be lifting weights, letting your anger out on that.
Weightlifting was like more of an outlet for me because I was struggling with like depression and like I didn't have a lot of self-confidence in my body and who I was. So weightlifting was like a way out of it. It brought me out of the depression state I was in. It does more than just make you stronger. It tones you, it shapes you. And it overall, just as a person, it helps you mentally. Like I focus more because I work out, I sweat, I eat right. Weightlifting is a mind game. The mental aspect of lifting is the most hardest part. And being confident to come in front of all these people and clean and bench this weight, because that takes a lot too. That builds your confidence. So I just feel like it's just more of a mental game than a strength.
My relationship with my teammates, like I try to have like a good bond. I'll do anything for them. If anything happens, I'll be there for them. You can start from nothing. It depends how much effort you want to put into it, you know. If you're dedicated enough and you want to put hours and hours to get better, you're gonna make it.
Some people say that soccer is a sport for weak, and I don't think that is very
contact sport. Since it's 90 minutes most of the time, you have to be running most of the time as well. So you need to be physically fit, and it would be nice if you had a pretty strong body as well, because you, especially in high school, are going to be competing against tall people and strong people. So my coaches are very hard on me, and that's not a bad thing because they actually want me to go to the next level. So that's a thing I value.
To be a good wrestler, you need to have a lot of perseverance. You need to have a lot of grit. You know, be able to struggle through the hard times no matter how hard it gets. It's a hard sport, mentally and physically. So I've been hurt countless times, you know, gone through roadblocks in my mind and stuff, and it's just perseverance to get through it, and family and coaches around me. The most difficult part of wrestling is probably the mental aspect, to be able to get knocked down and keep getting back up again. It's probably the hardest part.
Getting into the sport was like tough because I was kind of better at football, you know, and it's more team-based. But as a wrestler, I was getting beat up. It's just getting beat up every day. It kind of sucked. I didn't like it, but I just stuck with it, and then, you know, you get better. Practice makes perfect. I think when I first started, not being as good as the people in our room, because our room's like always been pretty good. I've wrestled and got beat up by like so many like better kids, older kids, because I came here when I was younger. I think that really like, it plays in the mind, like getting beat up by everyone, kind of like you get in your head a little bit, but you just got to push through it. And I think that was a big obstacle, just to be mentally tough.
In my opinion, the toughest sports to do. It helps me with determination to be the best, grit, toughness, personality, just being a better person, you know. It starts in here, very strict people, you know, pushing yourself to be the best wrestler you could be. But I always have my teammates there to get me up when I'm down, so I always have good grades, always have to be a good person. You just can't be a crummy person in life, so wrestling has really taught me how to be me and, you know, be a better individual.
Definitely one challenging thing I would say is the mental aspect of it. Not everyone is mentally built for volleyball. Volleyball's never really looked at as a mental sport, but that's one thing our coach really talks about, is just your mental ability and how you have to be mentally tough with the sport. So with anything that comes through with it, you know, all the trials that you may face, so just to stay mentally tough. My favorite memory with this team was actually this past Saturday. We beat George Jenkins, and that was a big win for me personally and for the team. We just won 2 tournaments back-to-back, so that was a big win, beating some big public schools this weekend.
Volleyball for me is a very technical and very disciplined sport, something that you have to work really hard at. So I think it's something that I've been able to just put everything that I have into, and I enjoy being able to just focus on the sport and better myself in it, and it makes me a better leader and a better person in general. Helps me to work harder and learn discipline, learn time management, learn how to be a teammate and work with others. So that's definitely probably one of my favorite things about it. I think being a good teammate is really important. It's a very vocal sport. Everyone really has to work together. So being a good teammate, like I said, being able to just mentally get yourself out of a rut and realizing that not every mistake defines the game. And physically, just being fast, being able to adjust and learn and see different spots on the court. It's really something that you have to see a lot of stuff at a lot of times. It's a very fast-paced game. And so just having reflexes and being able to determine what you should do with which ball, it's being smart in a volleyball aspect.
If you don't have mental toughness, it's hard to, you know, push yourself to where you need to be in life. And definitely volleyball has kept me, you know, pushing and becoming myself, you know, to become a better leader. Literally, volleyball is 90% of like mental, and if your mind is not there, then there's no reason for you to be playing the sport, you know? In order for you to push yourself to become the best that you can, you have to tell yourself every day, I'm going to do better, I'm going to become a better player. So I think just mental toughness is the #1 thing in volleyball. It's all about the heart and the mentality that you bring onto the court. So I say don't let anyone tell you what you can't do, because you're the only person that knows that what you can do. So just keep pushing yourself and become a better person than you were than yesterday.